Hi everyone! Leaping to another part of the world, at the same time staying connected, this is going to be a cover of Tower of Power's What Is Hip by a Japanese band, and I'll read a little bit about it. The band's name is Tokyo Groove Jyoshi, and I guess Jyoshi means women. It's an all-female band. And I guess in this song they had a guest soloist, so let's see what else there is to read about the band, and then we'll listen to What Is Hip from Japan. Tokyo Groove Jyoshi, sometimes called TGJ. I don't know which one of those is more of a tongue twister. Tokyo Groove Jyoshi, TGJ, is an all-female jazz funk group band formed in 2018 in Tokyo, consisting of top Japanese session musicians. And yes, Jyoshi is Japanese for women. Session musicians can be pretty good. I've known a few in my life, and they are rather formidable in their skill set, so this could be kind of fun. TGJ's single Hot Summer was ranked #1 in the R&B and soul section in iTunes in Turkey 2 years ago, and their EP Tokyo Groove is ranked at #8 in R&B soul in iTunes Japan. The band's third EP, called TGJ Grooving and Dancing, was released in January 2024, reaching #2 in Japan and Germany in the iTunes R&B soul category. A new single, Dance to the Music, was released on the 24th of December 2023. That was just 7-8 months ago, and is proving to be a big hit in R&B soul top songs on iTunes in Japan and Thailand. So this is quite a new band, formed in 2018, clearly active and producing, and again, it's one of this 21st century modern phenomena of rankings on iTunes and other streaming places rather than the classic rankings that I've been reading so much of. This is going to be fun. Tower of Power, What Is Hip, according to Tokyo Groove Jyoshi. Let's see how this sounds. This plucked instrument, it sounds like it could be possibly a traditional Japanese or Asian area instrument. I don't know exactly what it is, but I once saw a recording of an orchestra of all traditional Asian instruments performing, I guess it was Bach or something, or it might have even been some more romantic classical composer. It's been a while since I saw it. And it was so funny because it changed the sound so much. But once you got tuned to the nuances, there was something incredibly hauntingly beautiful about it. Well, this plucked instrument is mixed in with some more, well, of course, the modern instruments. We have the drums, we have the guitar, we have all of these rather hefty sounding instruments. And so the contrast, of course, is quite significant. But it's working, and I guess they have it far enough in the foreground that we can really hear and enjoy it. So funny. I've been so taken by this plucked instrument sound. It took me a moment to realize that, oh, there's an organ in there to notice as well. It has a sort of a nervous quality. Well, I'm no expert in the rhythm and blues category, but somehow I have this association with this feeling of nervous activity with the rhythm and blues genre. And maybe you can all tell me if I'm right or wrong, but there's this feeling of constant kind of like water boiling on the stove, this constant simmering, nervous activity. Don't sit down. Don't sit down. There's too much going on. Just keep yourself moving. And that is kind of the main feel of the piece so far. And there's a lot of, most of it is focused on the rhythm. All these instruments playing. There's no main melody. It's not even focused on harmony. It's just the rhythm that keeps it going. And as the rhythm keeps it going, as we have this pot boiling, well, you throw in some spices and you throw in a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but keep the pot boiling. Keep the pot boiling. That's kind of how it comes across to me. I'm just beginning to think perhaps the soloist, the guest soloist, may be the one playing this plucked instrument because it's not a classic member of a, well, rock, R&B, soul band. And I've been kind of just feeling this music traveling along. I almost forgot that it was a cover of What Is Hip. In fact, when I started, I was thinking, I'm going to hear a voice somewhere in here singing What Is Hip. And then I'm sitting here realizing, oh, I'm nearly to the end of the song. And it's a cover of What Is Hip without a voice. And there's so much activity in this that, for example, this little bit of a drum solo here. How fitting to have such a rhythmic piece have a drum solo, right? It blends right in. It fits well. And it's so ornate that for someone like me who's only heard What Is Hip once in my life, the melody of What Is Hip doesn't just jump out at me. But now that I'm suddenly realizing, oh, we're not going to hear a voice. It's in here. And so now my ears are tuned and seeking for that What Is Hip melody. And, oh, well, we're going to listen for it to the end. I can hear it. It's in that plucked instrument now. And this you know, hearing it without the voice, suddenly it becomes very obvious to me. Well, of course, this is a very common musical sequence in soul music and jazz. And, well, a traditional tune, which is very often a student's first introduction to that kind of jazz soul expression, especially if you're a brass player or pianist, is something like When the Saints Go Marching In. And you can hear it just when the saints go marching in. And it's, I guess I didn't notice that so much in the Tower of Power original, but now, listening to this, without the voice, without being distracted by the lyrics and the singer, I start noticing these little musical motifs that are so common within a style. And there are several of them in this piece, which are, you find them here, you find them there, and they kind of travel one to the other. But it comes in such a rhythmically energized presentation that, to me, who's rather unfamiliar with R&B style, it kind of has a feeling of, we're on a bit of caffeine here. Somebody drank an energy drink before they sat down to record.
What is
Well, that was a fun little ending to it. All of this, and it's kind of built up a feeling of expectation, anticipation, suspense. Because as I said, I was expecting a voice somewhere in there. And it never came, and it never came, and it never came. And then partway through I realized, oh, you know what? They're playing What Is Hip, and I didn't even really register that that was happening in all the mix of this. And then I kind of settled into, okay, it's just an instrumental solo and an instrumental cover. And then right at the very end, a chorus. What is hip? How fun is that? Well, I'm glad that my exposure to What Is Hip Tower of Power version was quite recent. Otherwise, I would not have recognized it at all. But this was a fun sort of musical, I don't know, almost a riddle. And if I knew the song a bit better, if I had listened to it and lived with it for some time to the point where, you know, I could recognize the melody more easily in various formats, I could see myself picking up on the presence of it here very quickly. But as I said, I've only heard it once before. That was a little while ago, but fairly recently. I managed to find the melody in here once I realized I'm supposed to be looking for it. But it feels a little bit Riddle style. And even the whole piece feels kind of like they're doing this on purpose, especially because of the ending. What is hip? All the voices? As if, ha, fooled you. You didn't know what we were doing. But now as soon as you hear us sing, what is hip? You're like, oh, I know what that is. I recognize. Oh, the song's over. Oops. So this is giving me some more ideas for whenever it is that I get to my list of songs that I want to cover in my way on my instruments. And I'm thinking, what if I pick a song and kind of disguise the original tune music in there to the point that, okay, if you know it well, you'll pick it out, you'll find it. But if you're not very familiar, you might not realize what's happening until the very end of the piece. Somehow I feel like that would be a lot of fun to do. So, as I say, I don't know when I will get to this list of covers. I still have a very little girl that takes all my time when I'm not working, and so I can't promise anything coming soon. But I have this project in my mind, and at some point in the future, I'm going to sit down and start working on it. And all I can say is I'm getting quite a collection of ideas of fun things to do and unusual things to do, and of course some very beautiful things as well, because I play a beautiful instrument. Well, that was Tokyo Groove Jyoshi's cover of What Is Hip, and kind of a fun little experience today. So let's see what comes next, and I'll see you soon.